Welcome to all of you out there, my dear astrology friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for all that feedback that you were giving me around the aspect of Venus and Uranus during this Venus retrograde, that you want to know more about it. And so, yes, here we are. I'm going to explain what I've learned over the years about this aspect. It's a very challenging one and a very interesting one, but also what it means to say on a level of a pattern, because this video is not about the 12 signs. It's about the pattern of Venus square Uranus that is going to play out. You could say Venus squares up to Uranus normally in a year once, a couple of days actually, when it does that. 2 times a year in a square. It's going to do that a couple of days, but now, because we have the Venus retrograde, it's going to take longer, and it's going to take approximately like the whole month of July, because Venus goes so slow. It's going to square up to Uranus the whole month. So the theme that I always associate when I see this in a chart, when I'm doing readings and I'm seeing someone with a Venus or a moon in an aspect to Uranus, there's always one theme. And it's the theme that is about relationships, that is about healthy and non-healthy relationships, and about our attachment style. So it is a bit different when you consider the moon, but I'm talking here now about Venus. So let's delve into this. If you want to know more about the details of the Venus retrograde, when it is and how it's going to be, and I'll put a link at the end of the video of the Venus retrograde I already made for all the signs, and you can look at it in combination with this. If you want to know more about the pattern of the healthy and unhealthy relationships that we are definitely challenged collectively now to upgrade our relationships through the pattern of unhealthy relationships. So let's delve into this. First of all, we want to know what Venus and Uranus is all about. Venus, I'm going to make it quite simple here. Venus is, of course, about love. It's the combination of Venus in a chart. We always look at the love style of someone. Let's put it that way. If you have a Venus in Gemini, for instance, you're going to be a little bit more flirty than a Venus in Scorpio. A Venus in Scorpio will be all or nothing, and very intense and serious and all of that. So that the Venus shows in a horoscope the style of how you love. And, if you are a man, for instance, it's going to be the women that you are going to attract. So I'm a bit, classical here with men and women, but anyway, bear with me. So if you are gay, for instance, it's that what you project or that what you exude yourself. Anyway, so very important here is to know that Venus is our style. And when it is in Leo, our style is going to be very extroverted when it comes to love. You will be wanting to, when you are in love and you have Venus in Leo, for instance. And by the way, this is how the collective is going to feel, especially women are going to feel that. And men are going to attract that or project that to the important women in their life. So we are all going to be a little bit more extroverted, you could say, buoyant. It's a fire sign. It wants to have fun. It's a bit childish as well, but in a good way. It's enthusiastic and it wants to have fun. It's super, super romantic. It's super, it shows its heart, basically, writing little letters before you go to work in your lunch boxes. That's all super, super romantic, giving flowers, going to the best restaurants. And so it's definitely, Venus is not afraid to show its love. Let's put it that way. And what is the downside of, you could say these are all the positive traits of Venus in Leo. I mean, it's so warm. It's a very warm sign, a very loyal sign as well. The pitfall of a Venus in Leo is definitely ego. So, when if you are looking to another woman, I'm not, am I not pretty enough? I exaggerate here a little bit, but that's like, they want to be in the center. Again, I'm probably going to have comments now. Oh, I have Venus and Leo, nothing like that. I mean, it's typical of that particular aspect. I'm extracting now one aspect out of the whole horoscope. But a Venus in Leo, the downside of it is to be a little bit too much asking for attention. And that is, of course, because who are the people who want too much attention, who crave that attention? Those are the people who are not able to give that to themselves, who don't validate themselves enough, because that's what Venus is all about. It's about validation. What gives you validation in life? Someone who's got a Venus in Scorpio, for instance, whether they like it or not, they're going to feel validated when someone sexually finds them very, very sexy and attractive. It's a Venus in Scorpio. A Venus in Leo is going to feel validated, and it's not a positive or a negative thing. It's just what it is. When they are a bit put on the number one, you could say. They want to be the number one in the relationship so that no one else is like, how would I say, in a relationship, so that they feel that they are number one. They feel that they are the most important, that they are special. That is what Leo is all about. And in a healthy way, there's nothing wrong with it. If you are in a relationship, to be wanting to be number one, that's nothing wrong with it, but in a healthy way. So again, in a healthy way is that you're not craving that to fulfill yourself, and because you're not validating yourself. So this Venus in Leo, what is a pointer for us is, how much do we validate ourselves? How much do we crave attention from others? And we all do that at times. And we all know that the more we crave the attention, because that's what Leo is all about, the attention of someone, the more we try to force things. It's natural that if we are chasing too much, I want your validation, it's gonna run. People don't like that. It's not attractive. But if you are who you are, if you enjoy this Venus in Leo, you enjoy the lovely things that you love to do, whether it is going for a swim, whether it is going out with friends and having a glass of wine or whatever, and having that fun, you are going to exude that very authentic, special aura, and people are going to be very drawn to you because of that, because you look so unique. So this is already a very important thing that I want to say here with this energy. And yes, we don't, a lot of people don't have Venus in Leo, but it's the collective that we're tapping into here with the Venus in Leo. So know the pitfall of that, and know if you feel like, oh, I'm craving this too much. Consciousness is already the 50%. Stop doing it and look within. Why are you not validating you so much? You're good enough as you are. And this is all about, as well, the Venus is about worth and value, how we value ourselves. If there is something like envy, for instance, is also a very important one, certainly with the Venus in Leo. So let's say it's the summertime here in Belgium. Let's say I'm a girl, 25 years old, whatever. And I'm having a vacation within 3 weeks. And, let's say I look awful, or maybe other people don't think that, but I think that I look awful because I think like I'm 10 kilos too much. Let's just suggest this. We can do two things with this Venus in Leo here. We could say, and you have a girlfriend who's got like this killer body, and you're envying them. That is a sign. This Venus in Leo is going to wake this up, because it's a lot about appearance and how you look and how you exude, not only appearance, but also the energy that you exude. If you're saying, look, I'm jealous of this, this woman here, because she's got what I want. You can do that. And then the Venus Leo is going to be very, very, I would say, draw you towards even not loving yourself, even less than you love yourself. That's the first thing. And it's going to be so negative energy that people are going to just run when they see you because you exude that energy. I'm exaggerating here a little bit, but anyway, to make you understand. Now, this young woman of 25 years old could say, hey, wait. She is the woman that, as an example, which is the Leo thing, right? Someone is shining. I can shine as well. This 10 kilos is too much. I'm going to do my best to work on that. So within 3 weeks, we'll see how it happens. And I'm willing to do the work. I'm not where I want to be, but I love myself enough to accept where I am today. And every single day, I'm going to watch my diet. I'm going to do some exercises, and I'm going to do that in a particular way. Or even better, I'm going to ask my friend that I'm jealous of. I'm going to ask her how she's doing it. And I'm going to implement what she's doing. Unless you think it's totally crazy what she's doing. If she's saying, I don't eat for 10 days, don't do it. Okay. Anyway, so this is the difference. This is using this Venus in Leo in a positive way. And there you are. You will be proud of yourself and proud of the accomplishment of, you look great. And of course you can say, but Veerle, in the spiritual world, looks aren't important. Why not? We all have different, who says so? It's all different for everyone. You see that in a horoscope. If someone has a lot of Taurian energy, for instance, if someone has a lot of, then money, quality things, quality, you could say shiny objects. I mean, quality products, expensive products. These are things, but these are important for someone who has like a North Node in Taurus or whatever. So everyone's different. And some people need to learn how to be the magician and attracting beautiful stuff in their lives. And other people have to learn the opposite. So it's very much about this Venus in Leo is about a buoyancy, it's about a lust for life. So we are gonna feel this, but it's going to trigger some stuff that we need to work on ourselves. And now comes in this Uranus. What is this Uranus gonna do? It's gonna square up to Uranus so long. Let me say first and foremost the dates when that's gonna happen, where it's gonna be exact, in other words. So the whole of July, Venus is going to square Uranus. That is something really, really extraordinary. Something that is pointing, that all astrologers are going to talk about because it's so rare. So Venus is going to square Uranus. And the days in particular, you could say, that are super, super exact are the following. The 2nd of July, so at 21 degrees of Leo, the Venus will square up to 21 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus is. On the 9th and the 10th of August, around about those dates, by the way, that's at 22 degrees, it's going to be. And at the 29th to 30th of September is the third time where these aspects are going to be exact. So the first time, it's in direct motion. That is really important. Let's focus on the first time on the 2nd of July, because that is when you feel it the strongest, this aspect, so to speak. So what is this all about? When Venus meets Uranus, this is the themes of Uranus that are going to come up. So we already know that Venus is about what we value. It's certainly also how we connect with others. And it's a reflection, right? When what we think of ourselves is going to be reflected in other people. For instance, if I don't care that I'm a redhead, right, in the country like Belgium, where when I was young, and you can imagine when I was young and I was in a region of, my upbringing was in a region where redheads, I mean, there was maybe one in the whole region. And it was so rare that people thought it's like, yeah. You can imagine how, as a child, looks do matter. You don't have to say to me that looks don't matter. I know so well that people can be so cruel because you're just different from all the rest. If you are like maybe an African girl and you live in Sweden, whatever, those looks do matter. And why I'm saying this, it is like, once you think about yourself, I don't care. I mean, the redhead, actually, I'm kind of special. I'm kind of unique. They're all boring. The time that I remember that I was thinking that as a young girl, like, oh my goodness, you're so boring with that brown hair and the blonde hair. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm not exaggerating, just thinking like, yeah, it is who it is. It's not going to change. I'm liking it. People also started to see it like that. It's a real strange thing, but it's like, when I thought like, yeah, I don't care how I look like, I kind of even like it, I started to attract people who very much liked it as well. So you see, it's what you exude. And so this Venus square Uranus, what is this all about? This Venus is about connecting, right? It is about how you connect to other people. Like I was mentioning with the hair, how you attract people to you. And it's about what you think about yourself. Of course, it's other things. It's karma and what is on our path and what not. But in a big way, we can do stuff to become more seen if we see ourselves more. So that's the core of Venus. It's about connection. Now, Uranus is the opposite. Uranus doesn't want to connect. Venus square Uranus. You see the team coming up here? Uranus is about freedom. Uranus is about independence. Uranus is about, I don't give a, I just do my thing. Uranus is about intuition. It's about, I see it. Intuitively, I know. It's about honesty to the core of the core of the core. It's about rawness. It's about innovation. It's about thinking and being and doing things out of the box. And connected to Venus, it's connected to those teams of connection, that you want that independence, that you want excitement as well, new stuff, experiencing stuff that you've never experienced before. And not having to think about, oh, what are the others going to think? Do they want that? I want to travel in this way. I want to travel in the most luxury 5-star hotels. And I don't care if other people go with me and don't have the money to do it. That's Uranus as well. But it's honest. And Venus is like, oh yeah, but if I'm going to travel with friends, a couple of my friends, when it comes to money, or they're not really, they a 5-star hotel, it's not their thing. We're going to 4 stars. So that's the compromising energy. That's connecting, right? Connecting is not saying it's my way or the highway. Connecting is a give and a take. You see the subject here? That is so interesting between Venus, connection, and Uranus, freedom and independence. It's not selfishness. It's just freedom and independence, point. So you see here a square that we are going to feel collectively. Attention. A square is tension. It's like, if I'm going to do just the Venus, I'm not going to be happy. If I'm just going to connect for the connection and doing everything for the connection. In other words, not thinking about my own self and what I like, if I'm just going to, make myself invisible and just to keep the connection, I'm going to choose Venus. I'm going to neglect Uranus. Uranus is going to tap on your door. You can be sure of that, if that is happening around this time, and demanding that you look more for your own independence. On the other hand, if you're too much, you could say, if you're too much for the Uranus planet and neglecting your Venus, in the beginning, it could be nice, doing your own thing, traveling alone in the 5 stars hotel and whatnot. I'm just giving these stupid examples. But anyway, you could have a blast. You could do new things that you've never done before. Do some bungee jumping out of an airplane or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you can feel lonely. The overdrive of Uranus is isolation and feeling lonely, feeling not connection at all. You see, so we are going to be all feeling this dance between connection and between individualism, independence. Let's call it that way. Individualism, independence. We are all going to feel that tension. Whether we are in a relationship or not, it's going to be there. whether we are in a relationship of 10 years old, 1 year old, 6 months, 20 years old, you name it, we're all going to feel it collectively very strongly, that tension between these two. And that is something very interesting because the universe wants us to upgrade when it comes to connection and individualism. It wants us to, definitely a square is all about time sharing. I can't say it in other words. I always, when I see squares between Venus and Uranus in a natal chart, for instance, or in opposition, or conjunction even, it is a team of wanting to connect and at the same time wanting to be independent. And, it can be a team of a lifetime if someone, well, it is a team of a lifetime if someone is having that in their chart. And these souls learn how to not go towards the unhealthy relationships, which is choosing for one planet and neglecting the other one. It's about learning how to balance them. And squares is difficult, but difficult is also a way of growth. It's also a way of, you have to do this, When you have someone in a natal chart, this is out of my experience, Venus squaring up to Uranus, they will be at both sides of, once in their life they chose for Venus, and once in their life they chose for Uranus. And ultimately they learn they need both. And what is the solution? The solution is that once you understand your pattern, you're going to attract people who also understand their pattern. When you are fighting with your pattern, you're going to attract people who also are fighting with that pattern. And that's okay because there's a process for everything. And this process is the process of healthy connection, healthy relationships. It's a 50-50. It's connecting and it's being with yourself. It's stability. You could call it Venus. It's stability, Venus, connection, the things that we know, the comfort, and the newness in life, and the independence, which is Uranus. There is a fellow Belgian, what's her name? Esther Perel. She is, I think it's a bit her work, her life work, that she is talking a lot about these stuff. She's a relationship therapist, a Belgian relationship therapist. I think she lives in America, in New York. And she's explaining this. If you want to know more about that, watch out YouTube channel. I mean, there are so many people who have so much knowledge and sharing that for free. So take advantage of that because it's there. And she talks about this. I'm saying this now in a pattern of Venus and Uranus, but she talks about to be in a long term, if that is, because that's what Venus wants, to have stability and so on. Uranus wants to have change. If you want to be in a long-term successful relationship, she is saying, and I'm quoting her now in my own words, that you need a certain amount of stability, but you also need a certain amount of change and excitement. And the thing is that is also Venus square Uranus. Someone in the natal chart with Venus square Uranus, they're not all going to be gay, right? Because that was some questions that I had. If Uranus is in with our Venus, are we gay? Venus in Aquarius, are we gay? No, not necessarily. It could be a pointer though. And that is because the Venus in squaring Uranus is working a bit like a Venus in Aquarius, which is all about that friendship. The value of friendship is very high. The value of community is also very high, and of the camaraderie is very important in relationships, but also the excitement is important. And also something alternative, something different than the mainstream, which you could say, when people are from the same sex, it's like alternative or not like the mainstream, so to speak. It's not bad or good. It is what it is. So we are all going to be pushed a little bit more towards that. And Esther Perel is talking about you need that balance. She's also talking about the balance between comfort, what you know, but not too much comfort, because then, of course, the relationship is dull, which is normal. A lot of people are living together out of comfort, and they live together like brother and sister. Then there is infidelity that comes up, right? Because also people naturally, they want excitement. It's in nature that we want change, but it is also in our nature to want comfort. And first and foremost, you could say we are stemming from, our ancestry to have that comfort and to have that. She explains that way better than I do. But anyway, watch her videos. They're very, very good. But when we are too much comfy, and we are in a rut, we have to be very careful, especially with Venus square Uranus coming up. It shows that when you're very comfy in your relationship, watch out. Watch out, because this shows collectively that we all need some excitement here. And when you do it yourself, when you implement it yourself, where you're not waiting and saying, oh, I can't do anything. I'm living together with my spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, and it's same old. And if you're fine, okay. But if you're not fine with it, do something about it. Don't put your head in the sand. It's not the energy, because you know why? Certainly when you love this person, it's worth it to implement the Uranus yourself, which is making sure that you implement some excitement, making sure that you do stuff that you've never done before. And of course, it takes two to tango. If the other person is definitely not going with you, then you have to make up your mind and ask yourself, do I want this relationship to keep on going? Because if not, Venus square Uranus, if you have suppressed this energy, and that I've seen that all the way with people who've got Uranus squares going up in a transit to their Venus or in an aspect to their Venus, all of a sudden someone else appears out of the blue very quickly. Uranus is like the lightning. It's very quick. It's sudden changes. So when you've been suppressing that energy of a relationship, or maybe that you have been single for so many years and you're comfy, all of a sudden the energy of excitement can come up, and the desire for excitement can be bigger than the desire for comfort when we have this square. So watch out that you're not taken by surprise there. Expect the unexpected, because if you're in a relationship that you find very, very dull, whether it is 3 months you are with this person or 20 years, and you're not doing anything, and you're not taking responsibility for your own life, then yes, someone can appear that is going to be irresistible, and that you're going to do things that might break that that connection, that initial connection. So adultery and all of that, it's very much Uranus-like, because it's all of a sudden. And then people afterwards could regret it. I say could, it's not always the case. Because of this suddenness, they could regret it, and then it is too late, because Uranus is cutting cords. So it depends, of course, on your specific situation. So if you are in a relationship where things are not flowing, where things are too casual, you don't find that you are seen for your own unique self, don't wait. Don't wait until that other person is changing. Don't wait until that other person is doing something. Really throw that Uranus into your life in however you have to do something, and give it the benefit of the doubt. If you say, look, this is now going on for years and years, it's dull, and actually, if it would happen, someone else comes into my life, or they go away with someone else, I don't care. Well, this can be indeed those moments. Astrologers, not only me, but astrologers know when this energy is around, there's going to be a lot of breakups. And this is not to scare you, because if you feel, you know what your situation is, and that is why I'm doing this video. If you know, like, yeah, I'm good, I have to work on it, but I love the person that I'm with, and I'm going to do some more effort, because what Veerle is saying, it might resonate with you, and off you go. But if you're saying, like, yeah, this is really not, the chances that the cords are going to be cut are very, very high here. And it's an energy that I always say that to people with Uranus transits. Uranus is not going to take something away from you that is still important for your growth. So being scared is really not the thing here. It's all about being excited, which is a bit the same energy as fear, by the way, but in a positive way, with positive thinking. And that is what I'm trying to do here. That is my goal and my intention with this video, that if you are indeed in that relationship that is in a rut, that there is things to get out of that. There is accountability, you taking the lead, and whether it is conversations, particularly around the end of July, the 22nd to the 29th, 3rd of July, my goodness me, conversations are so important. And it could be very good conversation because of the Venus, Mercury, they are going to dance together. So take advantage of that energy of saying what you want. And of course, the fear of rejection is going to play out, because this is the aspect of the fear of rejection. So what I'm not inviting you to do is to go what I just said in the beginning, the two unhealthy relationships, which is picking one planet, which is if you are in a relationship and you feel that your partner is just wanting more freedom, please give it to them. Give it to them. So, because the unhealthy attachment style is going towards too much Venus, which is an anxious attachment style. When you go too much to your Venus, it's out of fear. It's fear of rejection. And it's easier said than done because you fear the relationship. And it can break, but it also cannot break. But the bottom line is, you are there. You've got your back. That's what you're learning when you are having an anxious attachment style. You are learning that you are okay with or without the relationship. You could say, duh, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point. We attract people that are the right for us, and the trust in the universe, in God, in nature, whatever it is that you name it, is going to help you. The fact that you're watching this astrology video shows that you probably think that you're not God, but that something is bigger than us and that is way more intelligent than us. And we are a part of that. And but there's no use to cling, because the more that you're going to cling, the further you're going to push that thing away that you want. So that is the unhealthy attachment style of the anxious attachment style. I think I'm going to have to make another video as well, because this is getting very deep here. But it is indeed because the core of it is that you don't value yourself. Because if you are valuing yourself enough, let's break it down to some outer things, which is more easy to say. Let's say, I'm not 10 kilos lighter, but I'm 6 kilos lighter than I want to be. And let's say my husband would leave me because of that. It's very, very funny example. But anyway, then this healthy Venus would say, so what? So I love myself with, I did an effort. And 6 kilos lighter, I did an effort. And the husband is still going away because of that. Again, this is all unlikely, but I'm just giving an example. Then, hey, go with that other person. It's not meant to be. I will find and I'll make space to the person that is meant to be for me. But now I have a healthy validation about myself. And that's what this is all about, right? You could also go to the other way. You could also go to the Uranus way. And it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. You could go, if you fear rejection, if you feel, for instance, you're in a relationship, you're fearing that your husband or your girlfriend or your partner is they're going away from you a little bit. You're feeling that, and you're getting anxious because of the validation of, am I not good enough? What's happening here? And of course, if there are things about yourself that are not good enough, work on it, right? If you're not that kind and your partner is attracted to people who are very kind, make sure that you're a bit kinder, right? So put your pride away. Remember that Venus in Leo, put the pride away and work on yourself. I mean, it's the only thing that we can do. And see if there's a change. If not, then it's not meant to be. But 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, it will kind of reverse. That's what this retrograde is about as well. But what could happen if you're not conscious of it and you see your partner going away to that very friendly people, and you're not that friendly, it's in your character, but I am who I am, you're being the Venus in Leo in a negative way. I am who I am. They have to take me as I am, that kind of style. You could, when you were choosing for Uranus, the fear of rejection and choosing for Uranus, you could cut the cords even before they are able to cut the cords. And believe me, this is painful. I mean, I have a moon opposite Uranus in my natal chart. I know all about this. I have chosen many times when I was younger the avoidance style, like I'm cutting off even before they can cut off, because the pain is less than. That is something that is very misunderstood with Uranus. It's out of fear. It's out of fear. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? Whether you choose, and that is what we call the avoidant attachment style. So when you are, and of course, in nature, it is like that. People who's going to be a bit more anxious avoidant is going to attract a person who's a bit more anxious, who is a bit more anxious in that particular time, because these people can flip it. I mean, we can flip that. But if we are a bit more anxious, we're going to attract someone who's a bit more avoidant. And if we are more avoidant, we're going to, and we are not healthy in that, we can attract someone who is a bit more wanting to, is scared of losing you, that the anxious attachment style. It stems from childhood wounds. And I can recommend someone who is doing also YouTube videos. And I learned a lot about that because I was seeing a lot of, this is what I don't like about astrology. Astrology can show you the pattern immediately. I like that about astrology. It can show you Venus square Uranus, attachment styles, not always healthy, that they need to work on it, period. You can say that to people as an astrologer, but then what? I like to be an astrologer that also has a little bit of that advice and guidance for them. And that's why I just bombard myself with information on the internet as well, to have a solution for these things, for the healthy attachment style. And so she's also a relationship therapist. I think her name is Snowden, not like the whistleblower, but Snowden. And she's got a lot of good videos that go back to your childhood and why you have developed those attachment styles, because it stems from the childhood. It really does. But I'm someone who is working in the now here with you as an astrologer. My purpose and my job is to make you aware, which is what I'm doing here. And some people, I don't know where they are at, people. I kind of feel it, when they mail me the situation. But still, I'm not sure how much aware are they from their pattern. And then that they are willing to work on it is definitely the case with all people that come to me. It's probably because I exude that as well. People don't have to come to me and to say, yeah, what's going to happen? And am I going to end up like this and that, and not working on themselves? No, that's not what I'm trying to exude here. But so yes, I do have to work a lot about, I think I work a lot on myself, and there's still lots to do. But anyway, that's life, isn't it? It's not boring at all. But yes, watch those videos if you want to know more about the core of all of this, right? So a healthy attachment style is I stay with myself, right? I'm an individual. I love myself as well, but I'm also connecting and give and take with others. It's a 50-50. Like the anxious attachment style, if you've got that, you're going to invest like 80 to 90% in the other person 10. That's not healthy. That's not healthy for not you and the other person either. And the avoidant, putting in 10% or 50%, it's not going to make you happy either. And you're going to attract someone with the 80% or the 90%. I mean, It's not healthy. That's the unhealthiness of it. And toxicity is a little bit more for the Pluto aspects, Venus towards Pluto. But now we're talking about Uranus, and Uranus is indeed, when you see that, it's a fear of rejection, and they either cut themselves off before you cut them off, and or the other way around. They just cling too much. And from childhood, there must have been a story where you had a parent who was too clingy, too dominant, so too much, so that you couldn't be an individual. And that's why you kind of be avoidant in relationship in the future then. Or the other way around, you had a parent that was absent and you said the narratives in your head, there must be something wrong with me, so I'm going to be more and more showing what I think you want to see. Like if you want to see a sexy person, here's the sexy person. If you don't want to see the sexy person, then I'm not going to show this. I exaggerate, but this is how it works. This is this craving and the anxious attachment style. It's definitely having no individuality anymore. And the one attachment style is as bad as the other one, the avoidant. It's suffering. Both of these people are suffering. So we're going to see a lot of that coming up, not to annoy you, but as a sign of the universe, that the universe talking to us, that we have an ability to make better connections, to make better relationships, to be sure that if we want to crave too much towards a connection, that we give people space, distance. That is what Esther Perel is talking about as well, giving people the space. And yes, what you fear can come out, but that's the whole thing. It shows authenticity. It shows realness. Do you want to have a real life? You're going to love this energy. If you want to have a fake life, which I don't think you want, then you're going to hate this energy because it's so triggering. It's an enormous triggering energy here when it comes to relationships. So what an energy, right? But what a beautiful energy. And it is a time to introspect with Venus retrograde for sure. And that is good that we have that retrograde, because that introspection looks within us of what do we value ourselves, really? What do I like about myself? What do I not like about myself? And are these things that are in my control? And if I want to change it, is it possible? And working on a plan. So what can you bring on the table? But also, what is another person bringing on the table? Is that enough for me? Or isn't it? And that's where this whole conversation around the last week of July is coming up. First, you have to know it yourself before you can communicate it to another person. So interesting. And a lot of work to do on ourselves and on our connections, but the goal is fantastic. It's to connect better to ourselves, and it's to have that balance and what life is all about. It's that paradox between stability and between new things. And by the way, a last thing that I want to say is that these needs that I'm talking about, like I have a need for stability in my life. I had a need for connection in my life. I had a need for excitement in my life. I had a need to be seen in my life. Those 4 needs, they are very, very basic. We all have those needs in life, but at stages in our life, we might have, it switches. The need for connection might be stronger in a period of our lives than in another period of your life. I've give you an example. When I just gave birth to my son, almost 21 years ago, can you imagine? My need is not going to be, I want some more excitement, right? It's very obvious. And you can see that in the transits. That is what the transits are all about. The transits that we have to our Venus. By the way, I don't want to advertise here too much, but I've got a great course about Venus. I should do more advertising about myself, shouldn't I? Anyway, if I'm not forgetting, I'm going to put a link below. I don't even know the price anymore, but it's kind of cheap, and it shows all these transits that are occurring, and I do a video about that. Anyway, I'll put a link below and at the end of the video, or a link below. What was I saying? Yes, we have different transit. When I was indeed just became a mom, I mean, can you imagine for a Uranus person becoming a mom? Anyway, it was like I needed so much stability in my life. You know, I needed from my partner as well. I didn't like it when he was gone all the time, which is normally, I mean, I'm moon opposite Uranus. And he is also having moon opposite Uranus. So if you ask myself, if you're having these aspects, the best way that I see it playing out is that you attract a person who also has it, who also has that in their chart, but also at the same level working on it. Because otherwise, well, like attracts like, that is for sure. But anyway, I was craving stability for sure. So, and it was reflected in my transits. I had Saturn in the 7th house, and I had so many Saturn transits. So you see, at different points of our lives, we're going to need more of a certain energy. And I remember when I was in an energy of, I want some more excitement in the workplace. I want some more excitement in what I'm doing for a living. It was all Uranus all over the place. So you see that it depends on your chart now and your transits that you're having if you are going to welcome this energy. If you are in the midst of Saturnal transits, this one is going to be a little bit tougher for you. If you are, but it means, I mean, it's a month or a couple of months that you're going to feel this energy. So it must be in a certain area of your life coming up anyways, and even stronger if it's on a personal planet. But people who've got already Uranus transit and they're getting this again, so the people who've got like personal planets in the fixed signs like Leo and Aquarius and the end of it in particular, but also in the beginning. So all the signs, all the degrees of the signs of Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus, they're going to feel it the most. They're going to feel this energy the most. And it can be a bit annoying because it's supercharged, but you know where we're heading for with this Venus-Uranus. We're heading for that balance, right? We're heading for the restoration of energies, you know. And in this case, it's a bit more experience, more newness in your experiences. For some people, it's just in a particular house of their horoscope, like for instance, in the 3rd house, which is all about learning, and you just want to learn more. You want to learn a new language, or this is in your 9th house, for instance, you know, this that it is happening. This could mean that you want to go a bit more for excitement of learning something that you haven't learned before, or you're going back to something that you've learned before, and so on. It is about excitement here, but in a positive way, not ruining all your stability because of it, right? So what is your need at this particular time? Ask yourself that in important items, because some people, they it's very important to with the Venus retrograde. The question I invite you to question yourself before I end this very long video is, what is the need today that is the strongest in my life, right? Whether you say, for instance, like you just have a baby and you have the need for more stability and you are a bit more anxious because of that, you are a bit more clingy to your partner, then you know your answer. You have to give them a little bit more distance because you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And you work on your acceptance of the self there. You work that I'm going to be strong enough, or I have to connect a little bit more to other people who can maybe, once the baby there is, that I can give the baby to friends and then go out, meet my partner, do some exciting stuff, and so on. But it's important to know what you need at this particular moment. And it's important to acknowledge that, to accept that, but also your strategy of what am I going to do? Because the tendency when your need now is to cling, the tendency is going to be to cling more. It's just not doing that, okay? Let's say you are in a stage of your life where you say excitement is important now. I have too much stability. I want too much excitement. So be aware of that. Implement it in your life where you can make a change. Don't wait for other people to do it for you. But of course, also know that if you're going too far with the excitement, that other things will need to go. So that you will have, the price will be less stability. And can you deal with that? Probably. That's a question that you have to say to yourself, because otherwise you could throw away the baby with the bathwater, right? You could, for instance, let's say you have a marriage of 25 years old, and there is some things about the marriage that you don't like. You're going to look for it elsewhere. Know what the consequences are going to be with this energy, and know, can I deal with that? If that is, am I going to regret it? If you are, I would not do it. I would try to find another solution and work on that. And if you say, yeah, I'm going to risk it, then you do it. Another thing is, if you want more connection, if you want more, a need can be more connectiveness, more, feeling that you belong. That is a very basic need of us. And if you feel that it is important, with this Venus square Uranus, it could give a tendency of going to sexual pleasures, for instance, for the instant gratification, or alcohol or drugs or anything outside of you that can give you that kick and that can give you that fake, not kick, but fake connectionness. Can you find, it's a weird thing, isn't it? That people who are sex addicted, and that is that they crave so much for it, and once they have it, they feel empty. That under the underlying need is connection, is true connection, is intimacy, is being seen and intimate with another person. And on the surface, people think, oh, they are going from one partner to one partner. They are not really connected, or they don't need it. But actually, the underlying need is that of connection. That's also this Venus Uranus could bring that up. I haven't talked about that enough, about the sexuality, but that could be the case for sure. So then you have to go towards, where in my relationship have I lost connection with myself, and how to restore that. And then you're going to attract it in people that will give you that intimacy. And then the last but not least is that need for wanting to be seen. I think we're going to see this as well because of this Venus in Leo a lot. So the need to be seen. Why do I want to have the $100,000 dollars income a month? Why do we want that much? Or why do we only feel that if we go towards that, we feel that it's enough? There could be an underlying need of wanting to be seen, wanting to be, look what I did, how strong I am, how hardworking I am, how valuable I am. Where someone who really knows that he or she is already that, he or she doesn't have to prove that. So maybe it's that you need to work on, not craving the attention and the validation, well done, of other people, but you giving it to you. Anyway, what an interesting subject, isn't it? And thank you so much for making it a topic, right, for a new video. That is the inspiration that I'm getting from you folks, you astrology friends out there, because if I don't always know what people want in my astrology, and when I see that the majority and so many comments that I read them all, by the way, I'm not answering them, but I'm reading them all, so I cherish them. And yes, it was a very Uranian democrative kind of video here, because so many people wanted this video. I hope it helped you. I hope it helped you. And this is a topic that is so important because most of us, if we have relationships that we want for a longer purpose or a longer time, we are going to be meeting those topics. And we all having Saturnial transits on our Venus. We all having Uranian transits on our Venus someday. To a less extent, Pluto Venuses. But again, if you want to know more, check out that course. Thank you so much for listening, for your attention, for all your feedback. It's really, it's really giving me a lot of lust for making more videos. Anyways, having said that, all the best to you with this energy and see you soon. Bye-bye.